Okay, we're here with James O'Keefe, author of the new book, Breakthrough, Our Guerrilla War to Expose Fraud and Save Democracy. James, nice presentation here tonight. I was watching the various videos, and I gotta admit, the thing I liked the most was the Lucky Charms.
People tend to love that one.
And, you know, as a Sicilian, of the Sicilian descent, I could imagine going to the... I mean, we're taught not to be offended by anything because we want people to be afraid of us, but I could imagine how I could go into my old college and demand, like, the Godfather movies being pulled and various things like that. How hard is it for the left to stick up for their principles, as you put it?
It's pretty difficult for them to break out of a pattern, and, you know, as Alinsky puts it, one of the most effective tactics is to make them live up to their own book of rules. So I had read Alinsky when I was in college and discovered that there's a sort of false dichotomy that's set up. You know, you believe in a sort of a speech code that prohibits First Amendment. You say you can't say certain things on a college campus that offends people. I decided to put that to the test, and in that case we actually got Lucky Charms banned because it was racist. And you could actually take down, in the book I talk about, you could actually take the university and put it in a standstill using like the Cloward-Piven strategy and the tactics, just by making them live up to their own book of rules. And we did another video where we went to the homes of the legislators who supported the homeless Bill of Rights in California, and we posed as homeless people, and they called the cops on us. They're supporting homeless people, but they're calling the cops on homeless people. So it's pretty easy to expose the hypocrisy of that.
To what extent is what you do improv to some degree? You're looking at a situation, analyzing the weakness, and then you become, or the people who work for you become, the people.
That's correct.
Necessary to make the case.
That's right. It is sort of improvisational acting with one caveat. They're sort of destined to lose, because you go into these voting, you go to talk with an Organizing for America, Barack Obama re-election guy, and you're saying, I'd like to vote multiple times for Barack Obama because I support women's health. And the moral thing to do would be to say, well, you can support women's health and support birth control, but you can't break the law. But oftentimes these people are sort of highly unethical, and to fulfill that end, any means is justifiable. So we tend to put people in situations where we test their moral courage to do the right thing, and most of the times they don't do the right thing.
The left seems to try, and one of the things you mentioned in your presentation is how often they try to jail you for journalism.
Yeah, of course.
And when I hear about Dick Durbin wanting to try and define journalism and journalism's shield, does that worry you, the idea of the government trying to define who is and who isn't a journalist?
It's the most important constitutional dilemma of our time, because while we're losing our Fourth Amendment rights through the NSA, the fact that the Congress is trying to establish who's a legitimate journalist really threatens all of us. And I've even told people on the right to support whistleblowers on the left, support Glenn Greenwald, and support people who are exposing information. And I think that it's a crisis, because if I don't have a logo on my camera, you don't have a logo on your camera that says NBC News, it doesn't give you less constitutional right than NBC News reporter. But these authorities and people think that they can arrest you, detain you, even temporarily, just because you're not part of a news organization. Journalism is something that you can do. You can do it by accident. But what they want to say is journalism is something that you are. And my message is journalism is an action.
Now, in your examples that I saw a lot of strikes on local news stations. Right. Is that really the best strategy, to get something to like a local news station, and then a blogger like myself can say ABC News reported, even though if it's not George Stephanopoulos, I can say ABC News because ABC News 7 out of Texas did this, or ABC News 4 out of Washington does this, and so forth.
That's right. You know, most of our stories were local stories, and that's actually the best place to break news, because you're actually impacting locally, directly on an issue. We've also broken a number of national stories, national ABC News, but The local news is really how we broke the teachers union story in New Jersey. It's how we broke this New Hampshire story on voter fraud. And in fact, many of our stories, the national media totally ignored it. But we went around the national media by going directly to the people. So that is where you need to operate.
And two final things. First, do you have any advice to young Republicans who are in college, who are thinking of various things, and who might want to emulate you? What should they be prepared for?
Well, that's what this book, Breakthrough, is all about. It's about the price that you have to pay to make a difference. I don't want to discourage people. I want to be. I think this book is very inspirational. The story of what we've been through is inspirational, but it is kind of tragic what you have to endure if you want to make a difference. And it's sort of a field manual. It's a how-to guide for people who want to achieve social change, or people who want to do journalism, or people who just want to be active in their communities, to understand how the media works, how the government works, how people get outraged, how you can kind of circumvent things that try to shut you down. I think it is a hopeful book, but I do want people to understand the price that you have to pay as a citizen journalist, the fire that you have to face, and how to overcome that. So my message to young people is to get involved and to operate outside of the status quo, outside of the establishment, and follow your heart, and don't give up. No matter what they throw at you, don't give up.
And you're going to be nearby on Thursday as well. I understand there's an event with the New Hampshire Victory Pack, I believe it is.
That's right. There's an event here at the, let's see here, it's at 5 o'clock on Thursday, the 25th, at the Radisson Hotel on 700 Elm Street in Manchester. So if you want to
know where that is.
If you want to see this presentation, people tend to like it. It's 5 o'clock p.m. this Thursday, Radisson Hotel. We'll be talking about this New York Times best-selling book and my story.
And I would suggest that any of my readers who see this tomorrow to clear their Thursdays, if they're within driving distance of the Radisson, you will want to see it. James O'Keefe, Project Veritas. And where can they find you online again?
It's projectveritas.com. That's Project VERITAS.com.
James, thank you very much for your time after a rather long day, I'm sure.
Well, thank you so much.